Hello, my name is Tim Kahn and welcome to my channel, One Handy Guy. Listen, I've been in the construction field most of my life, 40 plus years. I've been able to experience a lot of different things in the trades, from welding to electrical work to framing to you name it. I've pretty much been able to do about all there is to do in construction. And one of the things I wanted to do with this channel was just share some of that information, some of that knowledge. I know there's been a lot of questions over the years of how can I find access to this, so I'm hoping to provide as much as possible for free. Just hope you guys enjoy. Let's go ahead and get this episode started. In case you're wondering why I can't hear, there's always a good reason for that. Stay tuned. Get ready for this episode. Okay guys, if you got the intro twice, I apologize. This is my first time live streaming, so I'm just kind of learning that. But anyway, I wanted to get right to the point on how to deal with Fusion 360 and Langmuire systems. It's going to be a two-part series. So first of all, let's take it and go to the Langmuire website so you guys can kind of see. Let's get to the right spot here. This is Langmuire Systems. This is their website. You can see they have a lot of information. The machine that I actually have two different ones. One I've got here at my shop at home is the Crossfire Pro, and then we have the XR at work. And to be honest with you, I like the XR Pro much better. Just my personal opinion. It seems to work a lot easier, a lot smoother, a whole lot less problems. But the downside is it's a lot smaller and you can't do as large a production that you'd like to, but in either route, they're good machines. I've noticed on Facebook there's a lot of different folks that have talked about how they want to learn how to use it, and they're willing to pay somebody to learn how to use it. So I want to kind of get you jump started. If you bought their table already, I'm sure you're familiar with their website, but I would recommend before purchasing, go here to their front page at LangmuireSystems.com and go to the support tab up top. Come down here and you'll see there's CAD CAM with Fusion 360. You need to watch those tutorials. Just sit down, spend the time, learn all that you can from those tutorials, and then I would recommend downloading Fusion 360. So we're going to take the time right now to do a little project in Fusion 360. I've already uploaded it. I wanted you to kind of, or downloaded the program, so it's here, and kind of see the process once you've opened up Fusion 360. And right now I'm trying to just do a small little project. Let me get over here and go to my iPhone where I can kind of show you what I'm talking about. Well, it doesn't seem like the iPhone wants to work right now. You can see the Crossfire Pro over there, but anyway, I bought some dies from Swag Off-Road on Amazon. I bought a finger press, and also bought some of the gooseneck dies and some of the seaming dies, and I just want to make a little stand for it, but so I need to design something in Fusion 360. And that's why I've got it loaded up here. So we're going to go back to Fusion 360. We're going to go into our design mode, and the first thing you want to do is come up here to create a new one. So once you create the new one, you'll know we always want to go to this quadrant. This is the bottom right quadrant of the XY axis, and we want to click on that, and that's where we're going to start our program. So all I'm wanting to do is build a little shelf. So I'm going to make this shelf roughly 7 inches by 14 inches. So first thing we want to do is just create a square right there. And you can see we can just add our measurements. And I created a block of 7 by 14. And that's what we're going to start with. Notice I can move this block anywhere I want because it's constrained. And over here you'll see all these. I can get rid of a lot of this in my view, so it makes it easier to work with. So I'm just going to get rid of the constraints. I'll leave my measurements there. All right, And first thing I want to do is I want to create just a line where I'm going to end up bending this to create a shelf. So I drew a solid line across there, and now I want to kind of see what kind of measurement, what kind of size I've got here. So I'm just going to check my sizing right here. And I can see that's 3 at 99 1/28. So we're just going to make that a 4-inch shelf. Overall 7, so I know that leaves me 3 up there. Next thing I want to do, if I just leave this as a solid line, it's going to cut it. So I don't want it cut that way. I want to actually create little slots. So I'm just going to mark this up into different sections that I can come back and cut out some. I mean, this is just a bending line, so I'm not real worried about what they look like, the spacing, anything like that, because it's really not going to matter. All right, and then I'm going to come up here to my scissors and I'm going to cut out the parts that I don't want to bend or don't want to actually cut out. Let's see, we need to really put one more in there. Let's go back to our line. And then we can cut out one more of those lines. So you see the 3 remaining lines are what's actually going to cut out. I actually don't like how this turned out, so let's extend that line on out a little bit. So that'll be a little bit longer of a cut line. Okay, now we want to get rid of all these little lines that we created, so we just go back to our scissors and cut those out so the machine doesn't cut those. Okay, so we've got our fold, more or less, where we're going to fold the shelf right there, and it's going to cut out these lines to make it easier to bend. So our next step, we want to create another line that we want to put some holes for screws to make it. So we're going to turn around and put a construction line up here to keep them all in the right spot. We're just going to create a line across here. And that looks about right. And we're going to take the construction line off and go back to a regular, and we're going to put some holes on where we want to screw it to the wall. So let's just put one about right there. And I'm going to make them a little over 1/8 of an inch. All right, let's do another hole over here. I'll put it real close to that one. And put one more hole here in the center. This is just for our screws to screw the shelf to the wall. All right, so we got our 3 holes there, and the next thing we need, these dies are about 2 inch in depth. I wish well, I think I might have it working now, so let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about as far as what I'm trying to do. Okay, so you can see here's my swag press. These are the finger that came on the press, and then I purchased, these are the seaming dies that you can see here, but over here on my table you can see I have a lot of gooseneck dies, and I'm trying to make a shelf that those will fit on. So I think that gives you somewhat of an idea of what we're trying to accomplish here. All right, so let's come back to our Fusion 360 where you can actually see what we're doing. I need a cutout for those dies to slide into this 2 inches by 12 inches. So all I'm going to do is create another box. Each one of these is about 2 inches, so I'm just going to kind of guess where we're at right here. And we're going to say we want it 2 inches by 12 inches. And then we can move that box around also, get it more centered about where we want it. So that looks about like where we want it. All right, our next process, once we've got everything done, I think that's gonna work out just about right where we want it. So our next process in this is going to be to save this. So we're gonna save this as a die shelf, and I'm gonna call it die shelf 2 because it's the second one I've made. And we're gonna save that. And from there, we're gonna finish our sketch. And then we go on to the manufacturer side. So we're in the design, now we're gonna go to the manufacturer. So the first thing we wanna do is get set up. So we click on setup. We've got to select our machine. In my case, I bought the cheap one with the Hypertherm is at work, and the razor welds here in my shop at home came with the machine. It's been a good little plasma cutter, I can't complain. So we're gonna select that, all right? And really that's all I need to fool with up here. I've got that set, everything else is set. I do need to change my box point to this lower left-hand corner. And then I'm gonna click on the model, which is the sketch, and click on that, and notice it's gonna say die shelf 2. So once I've done all that, I don't have to worry about stock, post-process, that's already been set up. Click OK, and you see I got a little green check mark here telling me it's good. All right, so my next process is to cut it out. So we go to the cutting tab. Once again, I gotta select my machine. I go to my library. We're gonna pick the razor weld 45. I've already done my presets. I'm gonna bump this up to 90 instead of 80 inches per minute because I found that makes a little better cut. We're cutting on 1/8 inch or 11 gauge steel for this shelf, and that should be about the right speed. So I've got that all set where I want it. The next thing is to pick what I want cut out. So I go to my models, just keep tabbing down till I find my sketch, click on that, and notice how the machine did all the edges, everything exactly like I wanted. I've already preset for my passes. Notice I set my tolerance at 0.004. My sideways compensation is coming in from the center. I also offer a finishing overlap because I like to make sure it gets cut out. I don't generally check smoothing unless I got a lot of detail in a drawing. And then the last thing I go to, my lead-in radius. I think you'll find if you set that to 0 instead of what's recommended, it's gonna work out better. And your lead-in distance is 0. Your lead-in sweep angle, 90 degrees. These settings have worked. And pierce clearance, set it at 0. You're gonna find that this setup right here works a whole lot better. All right, click OK. The machine's thinking, we got a checkbox, so we're good to go. Our last and final process is gonna be to start our NC program processing, which is creating our Gcode. And we're gonna call this die shelf 2. And we're gonna save this. Let's see, I think I've moved some of my files, so I gotta make sure we're in the right spot. Okay, so we're good, and we're gonna post it. Okay, you can see it posted the NC file, and I'll be ready to cut. So in our next episode, when we come back, you're gonna get a chance to see how this is gonna play out. We're gonna clean it up, we're gonna mount it to the wall and install the dies. So hope you enjoyed this episode.